Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Ripple is going to be at the forefront of tokenization and transforming the financial sector. And so they mentioned right here that we could see a shift that transforms the tokenization space to $18.9 trillion by 2033. Going from $0.6 trillion to $18.9 trillion. That is about a 30x from where we are today. And so tokenization is going to have a massive impact on the financial space. And so make sure to stay throughout the entire video. I have a ton of information that we're going to be going over. I have proof that Ripple is working with over 3,200 different banks that no one else is talking about. And so make sure to stay throughout the entire video. And so if you enjoy this content, do me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe for future videos. And so let's go ahead and jump right into it here. Let's take a look at what Ripple is doing. And so they are mentioning that the estimated growth in tokenization through 2033. Yes, we're talking 8 years from now. However, we are going to start seeing massive growth here in the tokenization sector. We have been seeing pilots take place over the last couple of years, and we are getting close to moving on to phase 2. And so they are estimating $18.9 trillion with an optimistic scenario of $23.4 trillion and conservative scenario of $12.5 trillion. And so we can see the large portions of this here are going to be real estate, stablecoins, derivatives. Right? Derivatives are going to be launching on Coinbase on April 21st. That's something else to be paying attention to. And so let's go ahead and take a look at more information in this report here. They're mentioning that there are 3 phases of tokenized asset adoption. There is the low risk adoption phase, which is phase 1, which is the phase we are in right now, right? Everyone is testing the waters. We have BlackRock that launched their tokenized US dollar institutional money market fund in 2023 on the Ethereum blockchain. We also have the Bank for International Settlements that has included tokenization in key initiatives like Project Guardian, reflecting its role in future regulated financial infrastructure. Right? So if we go ahead and take a look at those here, we can see BlackRock has their USD Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund with almost $2 billion of assets in value. We have Swift here that has been testing pilots for tokenized assets. We also have BTCC here that announced a new platform for tokenized real-time collateral management that they're going to be doing an experiment on April 23rd. We have Citi and JP Morgan getting involved in tokenization settlement trials. And so a lot of this is taking place here in phase 1, right? We're seeing a lot of pilots take place. People are testing the waters. However, we are starting to move into phase 2 here, which is institutional expansion. And so in phase 2, institutions begin tokenizing higher yield, more complex assets such as private credit, structured finance, and corporate bonds. These products demand flexible compliance logic, secondary market infrastructure, and broader investor access. And so firms are beginning to move from private to permissioned public blockchains, a shift that enables greater liquidity and interoperability. Recent examples include Societe Generale and Citi. And so we have Societe Generale here that is going to be launching its EURCV stablecoin on the XRP ledger that was founded by Ripple. And so the launch is expected in 2025. That is this year. We're going to start seeing implementation with institutions of tokenization. So this is definitely something to be paying attention to, right? We have been seeing pilots and studies over the last couple of years. However, we're going to start moving into phase 2, which is institutional expansion. Now, we could be in phase 2 for a few years, right? That is why they're projecting 2033 for about a $17 trillion market of tokenization. However, let's take a deeper look into this here, right? We have Ripple that has integrated RLUSD into Ripple payments, driving enterprise demand and utility. And so today, RLUSD is being used in the payment flow for select customers, including cross-border payment providers BKK4X and iSend, to improve their cross-border treasury operations. Over time, Ripple will expand the use of RLUSD for their payment customers. And so we have BKK4X and iSend, which are both partners of Ripple that they're working very closely with. And then we also have Brad Garlinghouse here mentioning that they're going to be speaking at the Apex event in Singapore in June. And so as we mentioned, the customers that Ripple is working with are BKK Forex and iSend to improve their cross-border treasury operations. Now iSend is headquartered in Singapore. We also have BKK Forex here that is also headquartered in Singapore, right? Singapore seems to be Ripple's primary focus right now. And so I'd like to take a look at a potential partnership between Ripple and Payhu that has not officially been announced yet. However, if I take a look at the Ripple documentation that I have access to here, we can see all the different banks that have had bank IDs already assigned. However, if we take a look at this, for the CNY, you will select the code corresponding to the appropriate bank from the list at Payhu. Now, Payhu is also headquartered in Singapore. However, if you take a look at this list here, we can see there's 3,200 banks total here. Almost 3,300 different banks listed on Payhu. And so this could be another company that Ripple is working with, right? They're working with iSend out of Singapore. They have BKK Forex out of Singapore. And now potentially Payhu out of Singapore as well. And so it does start to make sense that Ripple is going to be speaking at the Apex event in Singapore in June of 2025. And so this is definitely something to be paying attention to. And so we're going to start seeing a lot more adoption as Ripple moves further into the tokenization space. And so many institutions remain hesitant to move beyond constrained pilots, not because of technical constraints, but because new models challenge existing revenue streams. Instead of collaborating to reshape the market, too many are focused on defending legacy business lines that may not survive the transition. And so it is hard to change, right? Especially in the financial world. However, we're going to start making this transition. The people that are moving are going to be at the forefront of it. Ripple is definitely going to be a leader in this space. We're going to see tokenization disrupt the entire financial industry. One of the biggest players in the traditional finance space today, BlackRock, is already on board, right? Larry Fink has been talking about it for years. He just mentioned in a 2025 report that tokenization is going to be the future, right? Tokenizing all stocks and bonds, tokenization of real estate. There is so much information that can be tokenized. And it's definitely something to be paying attention to. Who is going to be the rails? Who is going to offer interoperability of the tokenized assets, right? We're talking Chainlink. We're talking Ripple, Ondo Finance. All of these are going to be leaders in tokenization. And so if you found this information to be helpful, do me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe for future videos. And as always, this is just my personal opinion. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video.